Welcome back to another episode of the Randy Wilson Podcast, Virginia's podcast for bringing you intentional content for the culture from the culture. And we are back today at our new home studio at Spin 100 FM. And we're very excited to have none other than Mayor Levar Stoney with us today. How you doing, Mayor?
I'm well, Randy. What's up, brother? How you been?
I am doing phenomenal. It's definitely been a great 2022, and we're very happy to have you on right before your state. If I'm correct, you're getting ready to do your state of the city address here very soon. So definitely happy to have you on before that. It's definitely an honor and a privilege, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Randy. This will be my sixth address to the city. So I'm looking forward to updating the city on where we are today.
Good, man. Thank you very much. Again, this is the Randy Wilson Podcast. You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are played. However, I suggest you go over to YouTube or the IndieTube so that you can see the gentleman that's on the screen. Mary, you're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you for being on the show. But we're going to go right on in, man, because you probably have the toughest job in the city. Would you say? What do you think?
I always say it's up there. You know, I think the superintendent of schools, the head of RRHA, those are tough jobs. I got a tough one as well because I'm a politician, so they can always shoot the arrows my way.
Yeah, and by the way, congratulations. I think I just recently saw that you are, I think, the chairman of the Democratic Party for the Mayors Association of the country. Am I correct with that?
That's right. I'm the president of the Democratic Mayors Association, and I'm grateful to be selected and voted on by my colleagues from all across the country. I am now succeeding Eric Garcetti, who is the mayor of Los Angeles. I'm succeeding him. He's about to be the next ambassador to India. So I get to be the mayor. I get to be the head of the Democratic mayors. He gets to be the ambassador to India.
Hey, we're gonna probably tap in a little bit on that just because we at the Randy Wilson Podcast have a big vision for where we think your career is going. We believe that you're really just getting started. And so we're going to tap in that a little bit. But before we get there, first and foremost, the reason why I say that you have a very challenging job is because we had a recent guest on the show that did not really share any few words. He wasn't short of words in regard to what some of his comments were as it pertained to you and your administration and some things with the city. And yes, I'm talking about Senator Joe Morrissey, who recently was a guest on the show. And so I'm going to kind of compile this question because it's not solely about Joe. We know Joe fighting Joe Morrissey, who's actually been in the media recently and lately. And I'm not even going to go there. But I guess my question to you, Mayor, is a combination of two things. Joe had no short of words in regard to expressing his feelings about the city's leadership. But I think in the bigger picture, what I'm interested in from you is that, we're age peers, we're from the same generation. And I look at you and I say, man, regardless of, well, first, you have a tough chin, very tough chin. And I think that's pretty impressive because I think a lot of people would allow their emotions sometimes to, contribute to how they fire back. So I'm just curious, like, as a professional, as a Black man in leadership on behalf of our city, and I'm willing to still say a young professional. I mean, you're still fairly young guy.
Yeah.
All the Obama hair hasn't came in yet. It's not. So how do you handle it? I'm curious as much from my audience perspective as well as I am as a person. And by the way, before I get into this, let me shout out Mr. Antoine Green, who's been politically advising me on my questions, as well as some of the other fellow urban leaguers. Mm-hmm. My questions come to you, Mayor, as a lot of my guests, I get a lot of help, okay? I get a lot of help. So I want to shout out those people, particularly Antoine Green, who contributed to the conversation today. But how do you handle this?
Well, if you want to be a public figure, particularly a politician these days, a public servant, you're going to have some thick skin. And you have to be resilient as well. And I'll admit, this is a tough, challenging job, but sometimes you got to think that you've been built for this, right? I've had a number of trials and tribulations in my life in my early years. And I think that those early years have built me for sort of the arrows that come my way. There's always going to be a naysayer out there, but at the end of the day, I'm the one in the arena. You know, you can say a lot of things from the sidelines. It's very easy to say things from the sidelines, say whatever you want from the sidelines. But it's a whole lot more difficult to put your neck out there, run for public office, and jump in the arena and try your best each and every day to do the right thing. Now, let's talk about Joe Morrissey real quick. I don't spend a lot of time on Joe Morrissey. I know he did represent the city. He doesn't represent the city anymore because of the lines being drawn. And I can't give you a high grade on his representation of the city when he was a delegate or when he was a senator. Nonetheless, it is very obvious since 2016 that I live rent-free in Joe Morrissey's head each and every day. And you know what? I'd rather live rent-free in Joe Morrissey's head every day than me ever having to think about him. And I think I live rent-free in his head because I whooped that tail back in 2016, November 2016. So no matter what Joe Morrissey can say here in 2022, ain't gonna ever change the fact that I whooped that tail in 2016, bottom line. So that's how I deal with it. I let my haters be my motivator. I know that's old school to think about that way, but he can hate all he wants because it doesn't change the facts. The facts is Joe Morrissey caught an L in 2016. And you want to catch another L, hey, let's go.
Okay. And y'all guys heard it right there. Good job. Not shy of words. That was Mayor Levar Stoney, and he provided a public response. And let me just say this, Mayor. I believe that it's important to be vulnerable in moments, okay? And I want to share something with my audience today that was embarrassing as hell, okay? I was intentionally trying to communicate with my editor about a post that I sent to you. Truthfully, I don't know if you recognize.
I can't remember this. I don't know.
You're smart. You're a smart man. I figured you recognize this because it was in regard to the Joe Morrissey interview. Uh-huh. And I was saying to my editor, I was like, he really came at the mayor pretty hard here. I don't know if we should post it or not. And I was looking at the post and I was thinking about posting it. Shout out RVA News Culture. They posted it. But I sent the message to you and it was embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. I was embarrassed, Mayor. So I'm going to say that to you that I want to publicly apologize because I didn't say anything bad about you, but it was a matter of being a journalist and trying to decipher the quality in if this is post-worthy or not. But I'm glad to see someone picked it up because you're a public servant. You said it, public servant. You live in the public. You're used to people talking, let's just say shit about you or whatever they want to say. Mm-hmm. I'm a supporter of you. I'm a supporter of the city. I'm a supporter of all people doing good things. And I want to publicly apologize to you because it wasn't with the intent of anything negative. It was really a matter, do we really want to put this out there? And so I want to share that with you because it was a little embarrassing. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no, Randy, no apologies necessary. And here's the thing. I'm glad you just said what you said. You're a supporter of mine, but most of all, you're a supporter of the city. And what I've learned since 2016 and running that campaign, that first campaign for mayor and then running for re-election, is that at the end of the day, we may squabble during the campaign period, right? All the way up until election day. But if I were to have lost, I would have still supported whoever it was, Jack Berry or Joe Morrissey, because at the end of the day, I want them to succeed because I want the city to succeed. However, the politics isn't seen that way any longer. People don't want to compromise any longer, and they would rather lose. They rather ensure that all of us lose so they can win. And I've never been that style of a politician or as a leader. I believe that we should always be trying to find a win-win. And so now that the shoe's on the other foot, and I happen to be the leader of the city at this moment, and I still have the same naysayers who participated in that 2016 campaign, still doing the same thing they were doing in 2016. The fact that they're still living back damn near 6 years ago, just shows you that they're not people who look towards the future, they still live back there 5-10 years ago. That's not the sort of leadership I heard that the city of Richmond wanted back in 2016, and I just choose not to live back there.
Yeah. You know, I got to say this to you, Mayor. One of the things that I think is impressive, and sometimes the word political can be, sometimes it can be used in a bad way, because I think there's politics in everything. But
in everything, in your work life, your personal life, people don't understand that. There's politics in everything that we do. And so when people say, oh, don't say politics, say another word or whatever, there's politics in everything we do. How you deal with your family, right? Not just in your household, but how you deal with your extended family. There's politics at that. Whether or not you want to go to Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, there's politics in that. There's politics in everything that we do.
But the thing about you that I like, I'm gonna tell you what I like, and it's political, but I like it. I think Obama, for us as young Black professionals, young men, Obama was an example and he kind of set a standard and an example for how a Black man can navigate on both sides of the aisle and, you know, with all races of people.
That's right.
Genders, and I said all genders of people, and I'm identifying theys and all that other stuff, right?
Cisgender, yep.
You do that very well. Like, I think that you are, as a politician, like you are a politician, but you do it so well. It's almost like if someone had to create a stereotypical image of what a politician could be, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I mean this in the right way. I'm not surprised that you're the chairman of the Democratic Party for the Mayor's Association, and you're from representing Richmond. I think it's good to say, yeah, Richmond City has a really strong mayor, but he's a really good politician. And I'm saying this to other people who's listening, because regardless of what industry you're in, or career choice, you better learn how to politic. You better learn how to deal with your enemies. You better know how to deal with your friends and everybody. So I'm gonna move on, because we're on a short time and I got good solid 4 questions.
I got you.
I don't want to get in the way of your schedule. You probably got to go put out some more flyers today. So you mentioned just now, this is your 6th city address. And I'm really curious here. We are really curious. When you think about your legacy, and I know I'm forecasting in the future, but I have to ask this, because I can't imagine right now what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years.
That's right.
Think about your legacy. Look at all the work that you're doing right now and trying to create a better Richmond, right? Are you beginning to think about and wondering, like, who could you endorse? Is there someone that you could see coming down the pipeline that could possibly sit in your seat, who could maybe not stand in your shoes, but maybe familiar with your sock odor, okay? Just familiar with the socks. Anybody.
Yeah. You know, it's hard to start thinking about the end. It's almost like me planning my funeral and all that. It's hard to think about that. It's hard to think about the end, and it's coming near or whatnot. But, you know, I can't be mayor forever, and there will be another mayor after me. There will be an 81st mayor and an 82nd and 83rd, and so on and so on. And so I'm focused on here in 22, and I got 2 more years after that. We're not at the halfway point in this term yet. I want to leave the legacy of hopefully opening some doors for a number of people, particularly the working class people in this city who are still somewhat suffering because of the pandemic and the sort of economic collapse that we've all experienced in this country. And so I have a lot of work that still needs to get done. But when I look at the future, I hope that someone is willing to take up the baton and still fight for the things that I and a lot of Richmonders still care about. And a lot of that for me is finding someone who sort of refuses to be labeled, whether left or right or centrist or any other sort, and just do what's right on behalf of Richmonders, city dwellers, particularly the working class that doesn't that sometimes are missing in some of these conversations. And so I have not explored successors or I've had a number of people reach out to me and say they are interested in running for this role in the future in 2024. I'm not going to endorse anyone anytime soon. I haven't settled. My mind hasn't even settled on any of that yet. So I'm going to focus on some of the projects and programs that we have in the works over the course of the next roughly 3 years. And then maybe you talk to me in 2024, I might have a better idea.
Well, we will be back, sir. And I want to compliment you on the fact that you told me in the last interview that you wanted to come back, and you did. and you did. And so thank you for doing that.
I'm always open to good conversation, you know. And here's the thing: I want you to ask the tough questions, which you never shy away from. But also, I want to have a good conversation with real people as well. And so I appreciate you just giving me the opportunity to form to actually just converse back and forth.
Mayor, I think the people of Richmond recognize and know that I'm the best at this. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my talk show to be live at the National, and it's going to take good people like you, sir, who believe in this. Let's just say this: Spin 100 does, and we want to invite you up here soon so we can get a picture with you up here. But
you got a Patreon or something like that?
Excuse me?
You got a Patreon account or something like that, on where I can actually, shoot you some dollars like I shoot NPR some dollars, you know what I mean?
Hey, we got a Cash App.
You got a Cash App, okay, all right. You don't have a Cash App or a Venmo, something
But I'm gonna tell you
wrong.
what, Mayor, honestly, no money is better than an endorsement. No money is better than someone saying, hey, I appreciate that young man's willingness to put himself out there. No one has opened the doors for me that I've walked in. I've pretty much opened them myself based off my reputation. And so that's what I think is going to take it.
I love people like that, period, who no matter what people say, a lot of folks tell, particularly folks who look like us, Black and brown folks, women, that they can't do this. You can't do that. Who told you could do that? Did you ask for permission? And I love when folks say, forget permission. I wish I could use other words, but forget permission. I'm going to do this thing. And you are one of those brothers that I've seen do exactly that.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
That's why I endorse coming on this program as many times as I can.
You're a good man. And we respect the fact that you can't say those words, but we can. so moving on. Got a couple more questions here. The casino is back in conversation. Speaking of, we actually just recently seen in media, Petersburg was going to pick it up. I don't know if that's going to happen now. I had some conversations with Mayor Stan Parham about it. I know that he's really excited for any opportunity right now that's going to bring some increased dollars to the city of Petersburg, which is very much needed. Whether it's a casino or not, I don't know. I'm originally from the North Carolina area. Charlotte is where all my family lives. And I recognize every year, Richmond takes a group of leaders there. Some of them are my friends, to be a part of the group. I was on the short list this year. I didn't make it. Silent moment of pause there. I want to be in that list. I need to be on that list. And I was supposed to.
I want everybody to know I endorse Randy Wilson for any sort of inner city visit trip, anything of the sort. You need this brother to be on the team, and he needs to. Hey, anywhere you can contribute to the conversation, the better we're all going to be for it.
Well, thank you, sir. But truthfully, that's my home. I watch Richmond go there every year, and it's my perception that Charlotte, phenomenal city, the Queen City, has done a lot of great things in building this infrastructure. So I'm of the impression that Richmond is looking at the model and trying to determine those things for themselves. Well, my question to you, and again, it's really the city's question. The casino appears to be something that is of interest and of opportunity. I don't feel like we have enough of those opportunities on the table right now. It seems like it's the casino, and what else? So my question is, if we're going to follow a Charlotte or an Atlanta or whatever, if we're going to look at models, what else are we looking at? What other opportunities are there? There may be some I'm not familiar with. I see that there's another law firm about to pop up. I think, forget the name of it, but it's going to be the largest building in the state of Virginia. But can you give me something more? Like, what is the plan when we look at Charlotte? And what is the plan for Richmond right now outside of the casino? Because we want to see an economic project stand out strong under your leadership. So can you give me some guidance on that?
Yeah, let me give you an idea on what our work on economic development looks like over the course of the next few years. We have some major projects that represent our approach, our strategy. One of those projects was the casino. Now, here's the thing. When I became mayor, a casino was not on my agenda. However, when the Commonwealth of Virginia gave localities 5 licenses to 5 cities, I thought Richmond should certainly take a shot. And we certainly did. And I did that because, as you stated earlier, this is about opportunity. And this is about those who are those working class folks who live down in South Richmond, who are looking for opportunities, not just a job for the moment in time, but for a career path. And as you may know, a lot of these casinos, they create good paying jobs. And so that's why you had a number of Black and brown people in South Richmond, folks who come from low income backgrounds, who said that this would have been a boon for them, not just for them, but for their families and obviously for their neighborhood as well. And so the city council supported an opportunity to do it again by 8-1. And we're going to try our best to follow through with that if the General Assembly doesn't get, if Joe Morrissey doesn't get in our way. Now, here's the thing. I've heard pushback. I've heard folks say, Richmond is not a casino town. We don't need this or whatnot. But a lot of times the folks who are saying these things are folks who already have disposable income, who can walk into some of the finest restaurants in the country or the finest coffee shops in the country and already have a home and don't have to worry about how they make their mortgage. It's easy for those individuals to say, Richmond's not a casino town. We don't need this. But there's folks in South Richmond who would love to have an opportunity to make a living wage or more than a living wage in the city of Richmond. So the opportunity still is available to us. It's our hope that those out there, people who support Richmond, stand up for Richmond at the General Assembly. Another opportunity is the Diamond District. We have an area, a 60-acre tract that is underdeveloped, that we can obviously create a new neighborhood in that will bring good jobs, more office space, more affordable homes as well. I think a report came out recently that showed that there's a lot of demand in Richmond for housing, but there's not enough supply. So we're going to build more apartment units. We're going to build that the missing middle, and duplexes and triplexes, things of that nature. And we just got to create more homes, period, and also preserve the affordable housing we have in the city. So, and I also do believe that the flying squirrels deserve to stay in Richmond and they deserve a new home. And so we already have that the request for interest on the street. We have a lot of interest, not just from folks here in Richmond, but all across the country who are looking at investing in Richmond, and that investment will create more jobs. Also, City Center. Now our City Center plan is a replacement for the rejected Navy Hill. I was a big proponent of Navy Hill. Why was I a proponent of Navy Hill? Because of the jobs and opportunity that it was available to a number of Richmonders, working class Richmonders. So now our second at bat will feature downtown being created into a innovation district. How do we use the assets we currently have, the Richmond Convention Center, VCU Health, J. Sargent Reynolds, and the Biotech Park? These are assets that sort of dot on the perimeter of underdeveloped parking lots, essentially, in downtown Richmond, alongside a now defunct Coliseum. How do we create an innovation district that folks can come there, live, work, and do business? It involves green space, things of that nature. So I'm very excited about that. That will complement the investment that CoStar is making as well. So just saying, we're going to have an influx of new people come into the city over the course of the next decade. We know that. We already had 32,000 from over the last 20 years coming into Richmond. How do we prepare for the future? We got to build good housing, provide good housing. We got to have good jobs, provide people with this sort of opportunity that will create economic mobility, particularly for those who are currently struggling the most.
Appreciate that. He just shared with you guys four. He just shared with you four things. Okay, I want to make sure that the listeners know I posed one question. He gave you four. Okay,
that's right. That's right. So when people say that we're focused on big shiny objects, my job as mayor is to focus on growing the city. Right? People say, "Well, I wish you would just focus on paving the roads." Well, we have done that. That's why we get less pothole requests than we have ever before, because we focused on paving the roads. But folks have to understand that paving the roads and fixing the infrastructure from sidewalks and all that stuff, it costs money. And as we all know, around this whole, in this country right now, everything is going up. Labor, the cost of labor is rising. The cost of goods are rising. And so that means that cost we have to bear that cost, and the taxpayers bear the burden of a lot of that. And so any surplus that we ever have it's gone just like that because the cost of doing business is always rising. Yeah. So we have to be competitive. The way to be competitive is continue to attract investment and growth to the city. And that's exactly what we're already doing.
Appreciate that. You gave us more, and I want to make sure that before the critics and the people out there come back with some commentary, he gave us more. Okay, he gave us more than the one thing. There was a lot of I got that question a lot. I got two questions I'm going to try to tie into one because I know that you're on the way to catch a plane to see Obama and Biden very soon.
Yeah, right.
People told me, they said, like, make sure you keep it tight. So I'm gonna pose two questions with you. I know we got 3-4 minutes here, and again, I really respect your time. Tying in two questions. I'm really curious. First off, we respect and appreciate and recognize the letters that you drafted to the governor's office. So we're really interested in what you see as the uphill road in working with our governor, particularly as it pertains to our city of Richmond. We're concerned, to be honest with you. We're a little scared, to be honest with you. I'm scared. I don't mind saying scared. I am a little nervous. So I'm curious of your feedback on that. And then my final question, that you can tie this all up, is, and I'm going to say this just bluntly, and I really am, like, I think I need to say this because this is what the city feels. The city was prepared, okay? The city didn't see this coming with Youngkin. They didn't see it. We did not see it coming with Youngkin. We thought McAuliffe was going to win. And we thought that you were going to be in line. We really did. We really did. I mean, I think you know that. Regardless if that was part of your plan or not, that was the public's perception, okay? So now we think that you're in line for something in the future because you're in this mayor situation, which is a national opportunity. We could easily see you run for a lot of things, go to Washington. I know you said your job's not done yet, but I think that I had to say for the people, like the people was prepared to see McAuliffe win, and they was prepared to see the future of Stoney kind of fall into governor. We've seen it. But now we don't know. Now we're wondering because we don't know what's going to happen in the governor's office over the next 4, 8. We don't know the trajectory of where the state's going. So we're interested in how you're going to work with the governor and also like your goals past them. I know that your job's not done yet, but you got goals. If you didn't have goals, you wouldn't have been where you are. So we're not going to let you leave with a political answer. All right. We want to know what Stoney thinks. What is on the horizons? Because you look happier than you've ever looked before, by the way. We know there's things coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you. How you deal with the governor? Well, here's the thing. Congratulations. I congratulate Governor Youngkin when he won. Remember, I was the chairman of Terry McAuliffe's campaign for governor. And so I thought it was the only right thing to do to call the governor-elect up at the time and congratulate him. And also welcome him to Richmond because at the end of the day, he's going to lay his head in this city on most nights over the course of the next 4 years. So I told him that I will do anything we can to accommodate you and him and his family. And he did text me back a few weeks later saying he wanted to get together, thinking that we could work together. And hey, I welcome that. If Governor Youngkin wants to find ways to invest in Richmond, I'm going to stand next to him when that happens, right? Particularly if it's going to help those who are the working class in our city, create more jobs, create more opportunity. I'm going to stand next to him on those items. However, if he ever does anything to harm Richmonders, harm our opportunities, create more barriers for my people, he's going to hear from me. And he's heard from me on this mask mandate, where at one time we thought localities were able to make the choice on their own. And then he put out a blanket prohibition on the use of masks. And we all know that the medical experts say that if you want to slow down the transmission of the coronavirus, particularly the Omicron variant, you're going to have to use masks and also get vaccinated. So when he came out on the opposite side of science, acting like DeSantis or Abbott in Texas, I got to stand up to him. When he talks about a tip line to snitch on teachers, educators who choose to tell the truth and facts about what occurred in this country, like Jim Crow, the Civil Rights Movement, or what happened to leaders like Medgar Evers, when he wants to basically whitewash Black History Month, he's going to hear from me on something like that. So we can work together, but when it comes to harming my people, I'm going to stand up to him every time on that front. Now, the future. Here's the thing: 4 years is a very, very long time. I got 2 years and 11 months left in this job. But as I've told people in the past, I cannot be mayor forever. And here's the thing: when I first became mayor, I heard folks saying, "Oh, stepping stone Stoney," and all this stuff, and I'm like, time out. I would never. I always want to hire someone who has potential to do other things in life, right? I recognize I only get that individual for a short period of time on my team, and then when we've developed them and their talent is at their highest, and they want to go off and do other things, I'm going to give them all the support I can. I've had that happen to me here as mayor when folks have pursued other opportunities, and so there's nothing ever wrong with anyone having goals. And I think when people don't embrace others' ambitions, I think that reminds me of the Richmond of the past, because young Black and brown kids in the past had a lot of ambition to be bigger than their street, their block, their neighborhood. And guess what? They were told, you can't have ambition here. You should move on. And so just like politics, ambition is also not a bad word. So I tell young kids that all the time: be as ambitious as you'd like to be, because you can do anything you put your mind to. Now, for me, I like to do what my dad said: do well in the job you currently have, and you never have to think about the next job. Obviously, I have to put some more thought and planning and some exploration into the next role, but I prefer being an executive over being a legislator. I've told me over the course of the next few years, I'm going to be seriously considering running for that next executive role. Don't know whether or not, I can't say today that I'm going to be running for governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, but I'm going to give it some serious thought.
Well, you know what? And the rain is coming. Hey, you guys heard it. We didn't let anything back. We asked them the questions you wanted to hear, and we're extremely appreciative of you being, back on the Randy Wilson podcast for episode 95. You gave us a little hint and insight to what the future may or may not look like. I feel like you was very direct, very transparent. That's all we can ask for. And so I want you to know, from us over here, Randy Wilson Podcast, Spin 100, we greatly appreciate having you on the show, sir. And we definitely hope to get you back, maybe in person one day. I will say this: I really appreciate all your COVID posts, because I'm nervous about this stuff. I'm not even gonna lie.
Hey, we had to, postpone our engagement here by a week because I was still in COVID and I wasn't feeling my best to jump online and real reason I was looking I wasn't looking my best either. And I think you got to look your best.
We see you came together, sir. You came together.
I'm back now. But I've had COVID twice. It is real.
I thought you had it 3 times. I thought it was 3 times.
I've had the quarantine 3 times because of exposure, but I've had it twice. And so if you haven't gotten the shot yet, if you got more questions, reach out to the Richmond City Health District. We've got the answers for you, but you got to get that shot. You got to get the booster. And you just got to be safe. And so I've been very safe, and it got to me twice. So imagine if you're unvaccinated, what it can do to you.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, you got a tough job, man, because you got to shake a lot of hands, man.
I got to shake a lot of hands. I keep the hand sanitizer right next door, every time.
Thank you, Mayor. This is episode 95 of the Randy Wilson Podcast. You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are played. And we are really happy that we got a chance to have you on the show today.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.